Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a publisher mail haul slash kind of discuss how to get ARCs and publisher mail. I've had a couple questions on it and I don't have a ton of subscribers on YouTube yet, but I have more followers on TikTok and that's definitely helped this along. Publisher mail is a marketing tactic, so they are going to give books to people who are going to be able to market their books more so than just people who love their books, which is unfortunate because I think even if you don't have people who follow you, you can definitely convince people to read a book if you're very passionate about it. But before we talk more about how to do that and the different kinds, we're going to get into a little bit of a haul. It's like 40 books in the past few months, which is insane. And I'm very grateful for each of them. And I don't know the best way to go through them, so we're just going to do it how I have it stacked up. First, we have an ARC, and an ARC is an advanced reader copy. You can get these digitally. You can get an ALC, which is an advanced listener copy, so an early audiobook, or they sometimes, especially with books that are traditionally published, will print a physical ARC. And you can see that it is an ARC because it has a date on sale, a published date, and it usually says not for sale on it. You are not supposed to sell ARCs. We have had such an epidemic of selling ARCs, especially for like the more coveted titles, I guess, the popular ones, which is crazy because like you'll get to read the book too. It's not like it's out of print. It's not even in print yet. You're going to get to read the exact same book. And I think the discussion is a little bit easier when you're someone who does receive them versus someone who is trying to receive them. And I understand that part, but I still think that it is insane to pay $1,000 for an ARC. Like, and it just makes no sense to me, especially since it's, I don't know if it's illegal, but definitely not like, it's not cool, that's for sure. But this one specifically is a white space novel by Elizabeth Bear. This is The Folded Sky, and I think it's the third book in a series, but they can be read separately or standalones because I haven't read this series yet, but I do believe this is book 3. This is about Dr. Sunya Song, space travel fearing historian who must journey across the Milky Way to save a massive artificial intelligence entity that holds the key to humanity's survival before it's destroyed forever. That sounds really good. I'm in my sci-fi bag this year, so I am trying to get more into sci-fi, and I love a sci-fi that's not written by a straight white man. So this will be great. Then we have one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and this is a finished copy. And finished copy just means like regular book. It's not an ARC. It's just the book that you would go to buy in a store. And Daw sent this to me. This is by John Wiswell, and I personally loved Someone You Can Build a Nest In. I thought it was so much fun, very cozy. And this is about Hercules, who is bi, which I think is historically accurate. But I'm really excited to see John Wiswell's take on Greek mythology. I think it's going to be a really fun time. Also, sometimes publishers, when a book has already been released but it's getting its paperback copy, will send out that book as well. This one is Pink Slime by Fernanda Trias. This is kind of like a climate change apocalyptic situation, I think. Pink Slime covers everything and I have to figure it out because that's no good. And this is also a translated book, which is perfect in time for Women in Translation Month, which is August, if you did not know. So this might be a good one for you. Definitely a good one for me. I'm hoping to get to this soon. Odd Body by Rose Keating is a short story collection that I have gotten a chance to read. If you are frustrated by weird girl books that are not weird enough for you, this is it. This was such a weird collection, and each story definitely has something to say. There is a point to it, but it's also incredibly weird. And I think I had a good time reading it. I'm still processing this one a little bit. And then Saga sent me The Flight of the Fallen by Hana Lee. This was so good. This is bisexual angst in a duology for sure, and I would definitely recommend it. I'm excited to see what else Hana Lee does. We have Creation Lake by Rachel Kushner, and I think this is another situation where either the paperback came out or because it's a seductive and cunning American woman who infiltrates the anarchist collective in France, a propulsive page turner filled with dark humor. I am trying to find the thrillers that I like this year because I think that there's a thriller for me. There just has to be a thriller for me. Just haven't found very many of them yet, so maybe this could be the one. I have not read a lot of spy novels, so maybe it'll be for me. Maybe I just need to pick up the right one. Putnam sent me The Convenience Store by the Sea by Sonoko Machida, and it is translated by Bruno Navaskai. This I think is just about a convenience store by the sea. And I need a cozy fantasy. I'm not sure if this is fantasy, but I think it is. Or like cozy speculative fiction for the 2025 r/fantasy bingo board. And I need something by an author that I haven't read yet, and I haven't read from this author yet. So maybe this will be good. If you like cozy stuff, I bet this would be for you. And Lori Gilmore, the author of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, blurbed it. So if that's kind of your thing, maybe this one will be for you. I haven't read it yet, so we'll find out together. This one I've definitely seen before. This I thought was about dragons, but maybe it's not. This is Novola by Paolo Bacigalupi. I'm so sorry. I tried though. Steeped in poison, betrayal, and debauchery, reading Novola is like slipping into a luxurious bath full of blood. And that was blurbed by Holly Black. I actually don't think I need to read anything else. I do think it's fantasy, and I'm excited for it. I don't know if I know anyone that has talked about this one yet. I'll try anything. That's another reason I think that I do get a lot of books, is because I read so many different genres. So I'm not just in one genre, you know? And then this is an arc from Tor. This is Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. This comes out later in the month. It might already be out by the time you're seeing this video, actually. And I really liked it. I think that this is a very particular book for a very particular person, but I was that particular person. This is kind of like if Final Destination had Zombieland's gore and humor. It is about a statistically improbable, really bad day where like 8 million people died in a really weird way. Most of them, like, so many anomalies were happening, and we're following one woman trying to figure this out, and I thought it was really good. I really like Chuck Tingle though, so this was great. Ooh, and then I have read one Megan Miranda before, and I liked it. I didn't love it, but I'm hoping I like this one better. I think that this cover is really good. It's You Belong Here, but the don't is almost the same blue, so that's very intriguing to me. The Megan Miranda that I read that I thought was fine was The Escape Room. I'm a big escape room fanatic, I guess so, and I just wanted more escape room horror, and it was more like backstory, and I just wasn't as into it. Memories fade, but on this campus, legacies are never forgotten or forgiven. I think this is gonna be a good fall book because it's set on a campus, and she's like going back to her hometown to go on to this campus and go to college. This will be on my fall TBR, which I will be posting at some point, so be excited for that. And this one, if I have a picture, I'll insert it, but it was really cute. It came with like matches and a recipe. Sometimes they'll include goodies, like not very often for me because I am teeny tiny, but like the packages are really cool. And I've heard really, really good things about this one. This is about getting to have a meal with someone who has passed away. I think that this is going to be kind of like hopecore, like Midnight Library, but I'm intrigued to see what happens because I've heard pretty much exclusively good things about this one. And I follow a lot of haters, so that's usually not true. This book had my jaw on the floor that they said yes to me. Most of these, I would say that like 99% of these I've asked for. I don't know if that's true of everybody. If some people just like get sent books, I'm sure that happens when you have like a lot more followers and stuff, but I have specifically requested most of these one way or the other, and We Love You Bunny was absolutely one of them. This is the prequel to Mona Awad's Bunny. It is actually not a prequel. It's kind of like retelling the same things that happened from the perspective of all of the other girls in her MFA program, all the other bunnies. And I'm like 50 pages in, 60 pages in. It's so good. The tone that is taken in this is immaculate. It is so much fun. I can't wait to continue. I just haven't had time, but this comes out in September, I think. Yeah, September 23rd. So I definitely want to get it read before September, and I cannot wait. This was my, I think, first arc that had the white border, and that was one of my goals. I think that arcs that look different than the book that is being published are so cool. A lot of you probably saw the Catabasis arc that was like numbered. That's crazy. And I think it's also a great way for them to avoid reselling because they know exactly who that numbered arc went to, and you can't resell it that way. That's how it should be done. But anyway, Coffin Moon by Keith Rawson, who is a gem of a human being, by the way, at least from the time that I met him. If he did something, I'm so sorry, I take it back. This comes out in September as well. This is an apocalyptic, I believe, it's either vampires or zombies, I can never remember. What I do remember is that it starts in Portland, Oregon, goes to North Dakota, Those are two places that I'm very familiar with. So I think the journey should be really interesting. And it's about a man and his stepdaughter just trying to survive. So I'm very intrigued by that. I feel like that kind of gives like Last of Us or again Zombieland vibes, which I'm really into. This is another one that made me feel really unworthy. So thank you so much, Saga Press. But You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. This is his adult debut, and it should be disgusting. I think forced pregnancy, which is a huge major trigger warning in this one, is one of my greatest fears of all time. And like, I don't have that dysphoria of being a trans man, in addition to just like being afraid of something growing inside of you. But I think this will be really effective for me. I'm like a third of the way through, and I'm personally really enjoying it so far. I'm personally extremely horrified. There's also people whose bodies are made up entirely of worms, which is also disgusting, but in a more unrealistic sense to me. Forced pregnancy feels very close to home. Worms making up my entire body, still disgusting. Farther away from reality for me personally. You Weren't Meant to Be Haunted by Jimmy Giuliano, also an ARC. This was so good. This comes out in August. This was like the nostalgic tech horror of my dreams. The horror started immediately, and I haven't heard great things about Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano, but I also heard that from Jan. And Jan and I kind of have opposite tastes, so maybe perhaps this author is just like for me. Vicious Oath by Annie Davenport. I got this one really early. Usually ARCs, from the date that the book is going to be published, usually they go out probably like 3 months in advance. I got this in May, and it didn't come out until October. Still doesn't come out until October, actually. I'm like halfway through though. This is a standalone romantasy, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I like Annie Davenport's writing. It's very fun. I don't have to think about it super hard, but sometimes that's what I want. So yeah, it's going really well. And then I got this short story collection with deckled edges and what I now know are French flaps. Deckled edge plus French flap combination. That's the best way a book can be produced for me. And I'm honestly not super sure what the short story collection is about. I think it's like speculative and just weird. If you could be anything, what would you be? And what happens to the people you leave behind? This is also really cool. Like that's really cool. I haven't noticed that before. And I'm excited. I haven't read anything from that author before. So this was an ARC that's not so good. And that's one of the things that is not so great about reading an ARC, is that I feel like I have to finish it because I asked for it, and now I need to finish it so that I can give a proper review and like rating and stuff. This one I did not love so much. This was much more about the music scene than it was about horror, like I was expecting it to be. From what I've heard, that's pretty true with Craig DeLuey, so I probably will avoid that author in the future. But if you're really into the 90s music scene, then this might be for you. And this is My Ex Antichrist. And the cover's so good. It's just so disappointing that it wasn't everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. And then we have a finished copy. The publisher will sometimes, if you get a physical ARC, reach out to you and be like, hey, would you like a finished copy? Usually I say yes because I have enough space on my shelves, and definitely not always, but sometimes I do. And this is one of my favorite books of the year, so I said yes for this one. This is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This is a medieval fever dream horror-mance, and it was just really good. I just really like it. It's for me, not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. Again, I am trying to go out of my comfort zone with like the thrillers and mystery books. This is the second book in a series, but hopefully I can just read it anyway. The Medusa Protocol, definitely the name got me. Assassins Anonymous is the first one, which also sounds good. Let me know if you've read anything by this author from this series, because I have not. And let me know if it's any good. I'm gonna read it regardless because it was sent to me. And that's another thing with books that I read that were sent to me for free that I don't like. I don't resell those. You shouldn't resell ARCs, but I don't even resell finished copies. I don't think that that's the way that you should do things unless you're like in a pretty dire situation. But I will typically give them just to anyone that wants to read them in my life, or I'll put them in little free libraries because those are for free. I don't think that you should resell books that were sent to you for free, but you know, I'm not the boss, I'm not the cops. Anyway, here's Ordinary Love by Marie Rutkowski. I'm really struggling with the last name pronunciation today. This is a page-turning, irresistible novel of class, ambition, and bisexuality. Ordinary Love is the breathtaking story of a woman risking everything for a second chance at her first love. And I 100% requested this because of the bisexual rep in it. I'm not typically a contemporary romance person, However, I love some bisexual rep. So I will be reading this. And the cover too also got me a little bit. There was another cover that looks like this, and I think I got a little bit confused, but either way, I will be enjoying this probably next summer. This feels like a summer book, and for me personally, summer is over by the time we get to mid-August. It is now fall, and I will be consuming things that give me fall vibes, which is not this. But next year, it's the year for this book. Fever Beach by Carl Hiaasen. I think this is a pretty like well-established thriller writer, and I think the tone is a little bit like irreverent or silly, and I think that could really work for me. I enjoy a silly book. On the afternoon of September 20th, dishwater gray and rainy, a man named Dale Figo picked up a hitchhiker on Gus Grissom Boulevard in Tangelo Shores, Florida. The hitchhiker, who reminds Figo of Danny DeVito, asked for a lift to the interstate. Figo agreed to take him there after finishing an errand. Thus begins Fever Beach with a not-so-innocent air, and that leads into a sun-scorched world of right-wing extremism, greed, and graft, in which Figo, a frustrated white supremacist, finds his dark dream threatened by two unlikely adversaries, Viva Morales and Twilly Spree. I don't think I knew what this is about when I requested it. I don't know if that sounds very good. And sometimes I feel like I put no on like these forms that I get, and they send them to me anyway. But that's my tinfoil hat. I'll take my tinfoil hat off, and we'll continue the book haul. This one I think is going to be fun. I kind of requested this thinking I wasn't going to get it, but it is an arc for a cookbook, specifically Parisian desserts and other delights. And I think it would be really fun to do a little video making some of them, because like I'm not just going to sit there. Obviously this has like some stories and stuff in it, like cute little ones in adjacent to the recipe, but I'm not just going to sit and read a cookbook. So we are going to be making Parisian delights. This would be another fun instance to use like a spinner wheel. And if I'm ever in Paris, it has the author's favorite chocolateries. Chocolateries? I can't pronounce anything today, I guess. I've also been trying to read more nonfiction this year. It hasn't been going great, but I have been requesting stuff. And this one was straight up on my list of things to buy, and it must have gotten published as a paperback because it's been out for a while. And this is Undue Burden, Life and Death Decisions in Post-Roe America by Shefali Luthra. I've heard really, really, really good things about this, so I hope to get to this maybe early next year if I'm being realistic with myself. And from this same publisher, which is Vintage, I also got Helen Garner's This House of Grief, and I think it's just going to be devastating from the title and just everything about it. So I'm saving this for when I want to be devastated. And then sometimes when they offer finished copies, it's a book that I've already read as an arc, like digitally or whatever, and that was the case for When We Were Real by Daryl Gregory. I like this one a lot. This is about like an interdimensional road trip. The cast of characters is just wacky in a very fun way. I thought this was a really solid 4-star, and I definitely wanted it on my shelves, so it was very convenient to me. This is another arc that I was like, why me? But I am excited for it, and it's Hot Wax by ML Rio. I personally did not love Graveyard Shift. I think it should have been a full-length book, and I would have liked it a lot better. And I'm going to be reading We Were Villains this fall because I think that it's for the fall. And I'm a little bit nervous about We Were Villains because I DNF'd the Donna Tartt book that it's like based off of, but we'll see. This one I'm very behind in my buddy read on, but a little bit into, and I'm enjoying it so far. I really like ML Rio's writing. Graveyard Shift was just really frustrating for me. And like I said before, sometimes an author will send an arc and then offer to send a finished copy, and sometimes I say yes to both. This is the arc, obviously, and then this is the finished copy. And this is The Library of Hellebore by Cassandra Khaw. I didn't think that they were going to be for me, but this book is so good and devastating, and obviously I tabbed the crap out of it. They are also a little weirdo, and I got to see them with Caitlin Starling, and they were little weirdos together, and it was so fun. And I got both my book and my arc signed, and they said that they liked my tabs. They thought this was cool, so Cassandra Khaw thinks I'm cool. This one is one I haven't really heard anything about, and that's A Serpent Called Mercy by Roanne Lau. It's the cover. Obviously, it's the cover. The cover is so good. Let me know if you've read this because it looks stunning, but sometimes I've been got by really beautiful books, and sometimes really freaking ugly books I've really enjoyed. So let me know if you've enjoyed this before. This is The Witcher meets Squid Game. I haven't consumed either of those pieces of media. In this Malaysian, Chinese-inspired epic fantasy novel, where a debt-ridden slumdog joins an illegal monster fighting arena for some fast coin, but quickly learns that the most dangerous beasts are outside the ring. I love, like, a crime den or, like, the underbelly, like, an underground market in a fantasy setting. That is, like, one of my favorite plot devices, scenarios, situations, settings, whatever. I love it so much. And then I got an arc that doesn't come out until November. This is The King Must Die by Kemi Ashingawa. I have not consumed anything by Kemi Ashingawa yet, but I know that she has a sci-fi that is sapphic, and I love a sapphic sci-fi. I'm a big sapphic sci-fi girl, so this should be good. My loyal servant Onath. Former ambassadors Juma and Kagiso Mekantai suffered a tragic accident this morning. My personal physician detected small amounts of poison in their bodies. Unfortunately, the chemical composition of the toxin is such that all traces of it will vanish by the time their corpses reach Ata. See that the daughter joins them. This is the L, and this actually came to me in a really cute package too, with like a card game and stuff. This one was one where the publisher reached out to me by email. That very rarely happens to me, so I was extra intrigued. This is also one of the co-editors of Never Whistle at Night, so I was extra intrigued. And this comes out soon. This comes out in August. This is already out. And this is like semi-autobiographical. I think it'll be really good. I think that's the kind of autobiography for me. It's just like not necessarily totally set in reality, but we know that. And I got The Gas Children by Patrick Tarr. I believe this is going to be out soon. This is a pretty standard horror, but this is also from a smaller press. This is from Crooked Lane Books, and if you are just starting out, that would be my suggestion to you, is to reach out to smaller indie presses that may have a harder time getting people who have more books and more followers. The first book that I got was by a publisher that I had never heard of before. I was just interested in the book, so that would be my suggestion to you. Then we have Spit Back the Bones by Tegan Olivia King, and this I got by doing what I would call a cold call, and that is emailing the publisher and requesting the book specifically. That's not where most of my books come from, but that is where this book came from. And this is about a sentient bog, and it's a horror romance. Those are two things that I love, and I think this cover is stunning, so I'm very excited about it. And then these two sets of books. Last Ballad by Kay Hanafin. Songs of Chaos series by Michael R. Miller. Both of those were PR people. Sorry, my camera died. But we're so back. All right, now let's talk about getting ARCs, getting publisher mail, how all of that works. When I started on NetGalley. NetGalley is a website where you can just request ARCs from the website. They're all digital, and you can sort it by publisher. You can get audio copies as well. Publishers definitely look at your review ratio, so you're supposed to keep 80%. I don't have 80%. I still get ARCs, but I am trying to get to 80%. The two most important things are start with read now titles if you can. A lot of even like bigger publishers will just like sometimes release a title for read now for like a day or a few days or something, and just try and watch that and do a few read now titles so that your review ratio, you have something, you have numbers. It's like the you need experience before you get experience kind of a situation. And then the second thing is make sure that your bio kind of explains who you are. A lot of publishers, you can look in the view approval preferences and they will say what they need to see from you. So you want to link your social media. A lot of publishers won't approve you if you don't have a social media where you review books. I have the social media and then the follower count in my bio, and I also kind of have just like a 2-sentence blurb about me. I have the publisher programs that I'll talk about later that I'm a part of in my bio, and just anything else that some publishers want to see. I have my email in there, and I think that's pretty much it. You can also link each social media individually. And I also have my Goodreads linked, but I'd say those are the two most important things for NetGalley. There's also a website called Edelweiss or Edelweiss. That's more so for booksellers, but I know other people who are on there requesting things. That I think is the main way to get ARCs, but I just did a book haul. None of those were digitally let's talk about non-digital ARCs and things like that. One that I didn't really talk about at all, I don't get very many books this way, are like tour companies. Think NerdFam. They will have authors, especially indie authors, and send out like a list or an email of things that you can pick from and request that way. I've gotten audio copies as well as e-copies. They also do physical and like the PR boxes that you see. I've just never gotten one of those. And there are other ones, but that's one way to do it. Another thing that you can do is be a part of a street team. So that's like by author basis usually, and they'll post it on their social medias like, hey, street team for this specific book that is coming out, and you'll like be a part of like cover reveals on social media and sometimes be sent the book. Usually that's more for an author that you're super excited for, and that's not as common, like not the main way that you're getting them, at least not for me. For a couple authors I've been reached out to via email. That's why I put my email on like my link tree and most of my social media places, because sometimes, especially smaller authors, will reach out to you and be like, hey, can I send you my books? You read them, you review them. And usually I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be able to get to this in any kind of timely manner because I'm not going to be able to, but I will get to it eventually. And if that's cool with you, yeah, definitely send them to me. I'm excited about your book, and then I'll get to them eventually. But I don't reach out to authors. That's just really not, I think, how that works. But if they have a form in their social media bio, that's usually the way that you would go for that. Then there are like influencer and publisher programs. I'm a part of a lot of them. Honestly, I get a lot of emails every month, and that is nice because there's a form that you can pick from, but you can't like request specific ones. It's like a pre-built form, and you select from those. I don't always select something every month from every publisher, but that is like the main way that I get books, and it's like pretty easy to do. A lot of the publishers, when their program is open, it will be in their bio. Instagram is like the main way to find out when that is happening. Some publishers have their things open all of the time, especially smaller publishers. Angry Robot Books will send me books pretty much whenever I ask for them via their form, and they have like a seasonal form, so that makes it really easy. Some publishers have like a mailing list to be a part of, so sometimes when I have cold call, which I'll talk about in a second, they're like, hey, we can put you on our mailing list, and I'm like, heck yeah. And then every once in a while you'll get an email from them being like, hey, do you want this? And the final, most specific and kind of the most nerve-wracking, at least for me, way is cold calling, and that's when you email a publisher and be like, hey, I would like this book, please. And sometimes they'll send it to you, which is crazy. But the way that you find the email, which I think is some people's hardest part, is publisher name, PR contact, and usually that's the way that you'll find the email. And then you have to email them and ask for the book. So what I do, I don't know if it works for me, but like I've gotten books this way, is, hey, publisher, my name is Madison, and this is my social media handle. I am requesting a physical ARC of this book that releases on this day. This is why I'm excited about it and why I'm a good fit for it. Here's all my social media handles, and here's my shipping address if you would like to send it to me. Always put your shipping address in the email where you're requesting the book. They're probably not going to have a back and forth with you. If you don't do that, they're not going to send it to you. Maybe they will, but it's just so much easier for them if they don't have to contact you again. I will get a book and they won't tell me that it's coming. It's just a surprise. But yeah, that's kind of how this all works. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know. I can do a follow-up video or answer your comment. But it's not always super clear how to do this. I have had a few really good mutuals be really helpful, and also just trial and error, and that's okay too. Like, a lot of these publisher programs too have follower requirements, and that can be really frustrating, but you'll get there, I promise. And thank you for watching my video. If you have made it this far, leave me a B emoji for the library at Hellebore, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.